What is good, people? Welcome back to the channel. KG's back again. As it is in transfer season, you do a video in the morning, another one might come out in the afternoon, and another one might come in the evening too. That's how it goes in the transfer market. But listen, people, we're here to talk about a new signing or one that should be in the door after a medical is completed for Leeds United. I want to get your thoughts on it. I will give my thoughts on it as always. And we're going to get into that in this video. Also a Tim Weah update and also a Gus Hamer note as well, which I want to get into on this video as well. But listen, please like the video if you haven't already. I did do a video, like I say, earlier this morning. So if you haven't seen that one, please go back and watch it. I will link it at the end. And I won't go into the topics that I talked about in there, but I'll be talking a little bit about one because the link was to Igor of Brighton, and that didn't make sense to me. This one kind of does in a way. Well, listen, people, shout out to everyone in the building and everyone that will watch on the replay as well. So, Sai with the super chat. Thank you, Sai. I see you more than my wife, not that I'm complaining. Tremendous stuff, Sai. Thank you for the support as well, man. Big up to you. But listen, Graham Smith broke it first, but he's putting a whole load of gobbledygook in his article. Tweet, so I've just put it in the simple one from Popey here. As per Graham Smith, Leeds United closing in on Wolfsburg defender Sebastiaan Bornauw for a fee around 5 million. It's around 6 million euros, so about 5.1 million pounds. 26-year-old Belgian centre back. For long-time Football Manager players, you'll know him as a wonder kid at Anderlecht. You'll probably remember him there. Obviously, he's moved on a bit since then. And for me, straight off the bat, before I get into your comments, for me, this is another squad signing. This isn't somebody who comes in and improves the first 11 straight away. This is someone that will make the squad a lot more solid. And all I'll just hope, though, is it doesn't come at the expense of Pascal Struijk. That's the only thing I'm hoping. I believe that this will be the Verba replacement when Verba leaves. And then we'll be left with Bornauw, Biol, Rodon and Struijk, and I think that will be our four defenders all done and dusted for Leeds United for this coming season. I would think so. I mean, we can't hold 5 centre backs, Pops. We can't hold 5 centre backs. That doesn't make any sense. To keep 4 is going to be tough enough as it is, but you need 4 for squad depth because I don't know if we're going to play 3. No one knows that from Daniel Farke. We've only seen him literally be loyal to the 4-2-3-1. He has done that throughout his time here at Leeds United, apart from a couple of friendlies in pre-season. So for me, it does mean that Verba will be out, and hopefully it means Struijk can stay. Now, with this guy, he's a solid defender. It does look like we're going for a bit of a type, but he's not as good on the ball as Biol. Nowhere near as good as Biol, but he's going to be one of those that will get himself in the way, blocks first, defense first, and that's what we're going to need where we're going to be in the table. So I'm not like excited or underwhelmed by the signing. It's a necessary one for the squad. What I do want to see, though, is more players that are pushing players out of the first 11 coming into the club. But this is a good one to have with Verba leaving. I've got no issues. Apart from this, people. Apart from this. His injury record last year is a bit of a worry. I've got to say. And if Wolfsburg have got any more injury-prone players, I'm sure we'll probably go for them too. But, he missed, let me scroll down to how many days he missed. 122 days of the 24-25 season. He missed 18 games due to, multiple issues, muscle injuries, flu happens. And where's the other one? Foot injuries as well, bone edemas. So there's a bit of a worry, but obviously he's doing his medical, so it's one of those where he's not coming in for me as the essential signing. Is going to be a squad option. So yeah, that's what it is for me. There's nothing to be excited about. There's nothing to be too down about. But it would be nice to see some like real statement signings being made. Because listen, this will be the 3rd signing of the summer. We've literally signed 2 players that will make the bench and 1 as a starter. And for me, that's not the ratio we should be going with at this point. We should be going a little bit more hot and heavy for players that will improve the starting 11 and go from there. I know these things take time, but as we've seen with other clubs, once they've declared their interest, the deal's done like maybe 2 days later. So we'll see. Let me see. What are you guys saying in the chat? Let's go. Chronicle saying true, some injuries. Yeah. Tanya saying a bit boring, waiting for a big signing. Lewis saying, but now we're winning the league. Um, Pop saying about Pascal in the Prem. Yeah, listen, I get that with Pascal, and that's why I said in the summer I was very clear as well. We need someone to replace him, but I would like to keep him as that third option, and in that way as well, he probably won't get as injured as much. Maybe that will help him out. Maybe it won't help his morale being pushed down to being the third choice centre back. But with Biol and Rodon, I don't see how he infiltrates that partnership unless we do play a three. But yeah, I hear what people are saying because positionally Pascal is a little bit suspect for me, but just with him on the ball and his attacking set piece prowess as well, it's worth having as we've already got him. If we were going out to try and sign him, I'd probably say no. But as he's already here, why not utilize him in some matches where he might come in useful? Um, Carl he's saying back three with Pascal, Rode, and Biol in some matches would be ideal. Yeah, I do feel we're going to need some matches with three at the back. I mean, I just don't envision going in against Man City with Cherky and Haaland and all these guys and trying to play 4-2-3-1. I just don't see that happening. No, and also as well, what I'll say, I'm like I said, I'll go back to the Igor video just a little bit, or what I said in the Igor video from earlier this morning. This one makes more sense with Bornauw because the whole thing with me with potentially being interested in Igor was where does he fit in? Because for the price that he'd cost, which is around 15 to 20, he'd be almost wanting to come for first team football moving from Brighton to Leeds. And I just didn't see that happening. And again, he was very injury ravaged last season as well. So that one didn't make sense. But for a 5 million fee and for the injury history that this guy has got and the way that he plays, this one makes more sense to me. So that's where it computes for me. Jacob here saying, bit worrying that we'll have two centre backs that are likely to miss part of the season. Yeah, I mean, listen, injuries happen to everyone, of course, but it's when they've got an injury history, such an injury record where it's like, it's almost like we look for players that have a little bit of a history, maybe to shave off some money per week paying them. I would like to go for some players that are, durable, that have no complications. But you know what happens with that. You can sign a player like that. First game of preseason, they're out for 6 months. You can just never tell. But obviously, you have to go by what has recently happened, and he has missed some time. So there we are. How does it affect DeBio? Well, DeBio was barely a factor in the championship shadow, so I would assume DeBio gets loaned out. I think that would probably be the best thing for his development as well. Carl saying maybe the water at Thorp Arch is different. Solomon was very fit last season. Again, you're talking about one there, Carl, but then what about Bamford and his injuries? What was the water doing for him? Or if he was injured. But yeah, no, I'm only joking. Yeah, Solomon is the outlier in all this. People, it was unexpected, a welcome surprise as well because we knew the talent was there. The amount of games he played was magical. But yeah, let's hope, Carl. Let's hope that there's something in the water. Michael here saying this guy is basically a replacement for DeBio, cover for Rodon. So in that respect, we're improving the squad. Yeah, I see him as the direct competition for Rodon. I do. I think they're very similar, very, very similar in the way that they are just defense first, just big old brutes. And I like that, people. I've been saying we need real men in there, no mamby-pamby nonsense. We need some real men at the back who are willing to put it all on the line, defend everything, and just clear things out. No messing about, no being pushed off the ball easily. And I think with that, maybe apart from Pascal, he his strength has improved over the couple of years, but he's not, super tough. But I think that we've got very, very tough centre backs at the club with him signing as well. So yeah, no complaints for me. But Lewis here, yeah, no more rehab career revival players, please. Yeah, well, DCL's free, Lewis, he might turn up as well. Gavin here saying he's our 70 million Prem sub. Oh my God, imagine running that back. Oh Lord. But yeah, so I mean, there's not really much else, people. I mean, I always want to go live when we're actually going to sign somebody or when terms have agreed. But again, there's not really much to this one. It's a good squad option. But as the Goldberg would say, who's next? Who's next? But listen, I've put a poll up, and I will get to it at the end. I did mention Timothy Weah. I think that was yesterday, maybe. Was it yesterday, Tim Weah? By the way, with Bornauw, he's going to sign. Let me just give the details as well. The medical. He's going to sign a 4-year contract at the club. So there you go. That would be the length of his deal. Apparently, with Tim Weah, in terms of Yeah, I spoke about Perry on the earlier video, Michael. Already done that one. In terms of Tim Weah, he is apparently leads, according to Mick Brown of Football Insider. So take that with a pinch of salt, and not going to be pursuing him. He just basically said here. I won't read all of it out. He's written quite a bit. He doesn't expect Leeds to sign Weah, which is good for me. I don't want Timothy Weah. I don't doubt he's somebody they've looked at and will have done their homework on. It's difficult for Leeds to go and recruit top quality Premier League players, but they're targeting people who they feel can make a difference. From what I hear, I don't think they're convinced he can be that player. We have to be careful, blah, blah, blah. Let's have a look. They'll be looking at a number of players in his position, and I think at the moment they're likely to go after another option. So yeah, just from Mick Brown there from Football Insider in regards to Tim Weah, he doesn't think that we're going to pay the required fee for him, and yeah, I'm glad. Yeah, that's it for me as well. He's not that guy. He's not that guy. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Weah, man. Yeah. It's hot, man. It's hot. You know what I mean? Yeah. Peshawar is the link for me, but it's no new news. There's no new news on that. In fact, there's no new news. Try saying that a few times on a few players that we were linked with heavily in like the last 2-3 weeks. There's been no updates on any of them. One of them, though, Gus Hamer, and this is one where a Dutch journalist, let me get his name, big old pop-ups come up here, Rick Elfrink, who's pretty big, actually. He's got a pretty big following and is followed by Fabrizio, so has probably got some skin in the game. He believes that Gus Hamer could be available to PSV for as little as £6.8 million. Now, he says that he doesn't, this article does say it's unclear if Leeds would be able to get Hamer for that fee. I very much doubt Sheffield United would sell him for £6.8 million to Leeds United unless he had a release clause, but maybe they're more willing to do that to a team abroad, and that happens all the time. We see that all the time with clubs where they don't want to deal in league or with a rival as such, and then they'll sell cheaper to the continent. Happens all the time. But imagine that, man, £6.8 million for Gus Hamer. That would be an absolute snip for PSV. But again, I still hope that we're in for him, because this is a player that does improve the first 11 straight away, no messing about. But you know, July 1st is tomorrow. In terms of the new PSR period, as you've seen with the deals that we've done, Mecha, Biol for the price point that it was, and now Bornauw, they're very low, low signings compared to what you usually do for the Premier League. I expect that to kind of pick up after July 1st for me. Well, I would hope so as well. Yeah. I know he's a great. I know he's a great. I know all that, but yeah. And yeah, that's what we need as well from Gus. That's what we need from Gus to say, I don't want PSV at this time in my career. I'd like to go to Leeds. We need him to just box it all off so that we can make negotiations easier for the player. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on this one and see if that's still possible. But yeah, I think that is it. People, let me get to the poll. And then if there's any other relevant comments, I'll get into them towards the end. Okay, so happy with this one. Yes, good squad option, 51%. Yes, 26%. Yes, only if Strauch stays, 13%. No, 8%. So there you go. So people are happy, and yeah, it's all good. It's all good. But yeah, what is there anything else, people? Because it's warm. Not gonna lie, it's warm. Jive saying, don't know anything about this guy. Hopefully from tomorrow there'll be activities, Deadwood going out, players coming in. Oh, that's got to be important in terms of that next, as well as players coming in. We need players leaving this football club. This club cannot carry some of these players, first of all, because the fans would give them a chance, like, oh, well, they're here, maybe they can do something. But more importantly, Daniel Farker will give them a chance, and we can't afford that in the Prem. We're not in the Championship anymore, people. We're not in the Championship anymore. We need top operators in almost every position. Some of these players are not Premier League players. They're just not. So hopefully we are starting to get some rumors now, maybe even later. Let's go. Jack Harrison, Chicago, MLS. I don't care. Saudi, go somewhere. Patrick Bamford, find him a home somewhere. Melier, get him out. There's so much that needs to go. I would even put Gruev in that conversation as well as a midfield option. There's just things that need to be done, and I just hope the club are being aggressive in terms of trying to make players leave, because there's too many players for me that, Brendan Aronson saying, I've got a lot to prove. All right, but if we sign two players better than you, you may have to move. But we shall see what happens because Farker does like him too. Do you expect things to ramp? Excuse me? Oh, okay, ramp up to. I don't know. I don't think just because the calendar turns to July 1st, we're all of a sudden going to get four through the door. That would be nice, of course, but I expect more business to pick up with every club then, because it's not just us. We got to think about the global football situation. Other clubs are also waiting for July 1st to make moves, and maybe that's why it's been so quiet in terms of outgoings as well as incoming. So maybe once July 1st and comes, and then clubs have got a clearer picture of what they can do in the coming year. Maybe we do see moves for Harrison and people like that going out. Who does Jack Harrison play in this current team? Where does he fit in? He doesn't fit in anywhere. Water boy. So we shall see. I expect more business to fluctuate between all clubs, but this club, we got to focus on ourselves and get business done in order to be competitive and finish at least 17th in the Premier League. That's the main objective. Otherwise, this will all have been for nothing, won't it? So, yeah. Lewis here saying need to sign that benches Bogle. Yeah, I've said already with Bogle. I'm happy for him to be here. I've got no issues with that. I think he'll fare a lot better than he did at Sheffield United in the Premier League. But we need genuine competition for him. I mean, that's got to be the case for nearly every player on the pitch. You can't have players that believe that their position is cemented just for them. That just can't happen. We did that before, and it's a disaster. Or you sign someone that is clearly a backup. That doesn't work. For me, you need to go get somebody that goes, he pushes Bogle down. And I've mentioned too many. I've mentioned loads of people this summer who Leeds United could look at for potential right back. So we shall see. But yeah, we will need another right back for sure. Jack Harrison to Rangers, make it happen. Make it happen. And yeah, we still need two left backs for sure. Yeah, there's a lot to do. There's a lot to do. So yeah, July 1st, hopefully things kick in and we can get things moving. But people, I'm going to leave it there. I hope you've enjoyed the stream. Please like it before you go. Like I say earlier, I'll put the earlier video in the corner. If you haven't seen it, please go back and watch that one for earlier news. But yeah, people, I'll see you in the next one. But now coming through, let me know your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next one. Peace out.